Hello and welcome to the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. And normally, at this point of the show, I would introduce my podcasting partner for life, Mr. Francis Fernandez, and possibly or my best friend, the beautiful Miss Talented Savanna. But unfortunately, they're both on PTO. So joining me, which there was supposed to be another screen in between the one that we're looking at right now, is my friend. I'm going to call her my friend. It's Miss Nicki Rapp. She's here to join us. She is a voice actress. She is talented as hell and nice as can be. Joining us here tonight. Thank you for joining us, Nicki.
Hi, thank you.
I don't know if you even heard that whole intro thing because I had the thing muted and I forgot to unmute you. So I hope you heard me.
I heard you.
Perfect.
Thank you. That was really sweet. Thank you.
Well, Nicki, I have you on the show. There were supposed to be two co-hosts here with me, as I said. So we're just kind of flying on the seat of the pants here. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do?
Well, I'm a voice actor. I've been working professionally for over 20 years now. I think I started in 1999, which is crazy. I do a lot of video game work. I mean, people might have heard me in The Sims. I was in The Sims 2 and 3. I was in the Walking Dead game. I played Lily in that. Psychonauts. I played Lily in that. We just had Psychonauts 2 that came out. Lots of amazing, cool projects that I've been really fortunate to get to play around in.
Yeah, and when I met you at a Walking Dead convention, I think in 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
Wow. You were talking about Psychonauts 2 even then. I mean, you couldn't talk a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But that you were involved.
Yeah, that it had been announced at that point, and it was like it was going down, you know.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah. I mean, it really was a dream come true. It's like 16 years later. It happened.
Mm-hmm. And it's cool that they were able to bring back, the characters and the actors that went with them.
Absolutely. I was very, very grateful for that we all got to come back, and it just felt really comfortable to be back in that character again.
And, that's something I will touch on here in a bit, but it's something I've always been amazed by voice actors and actors in general. Is the ability to go back into a character that you once played.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I've always, especially for voice acting, to find that voice again, and not the voice, but also the character and the mannerism. It's amazing to me. But we'll get into all of that here in a bit, just so everybody knows who's joining me tonight. So normally we talk about some stupid shit. And the first bit of, and it's not really stupid shit. I found it very interesting. Here in Denver, at the zoo, 11 African lions have come down with COVID. And I just echo on the guest. All right, I'll fix it. Hopefully I'll fix it.
You can do it.
Hopefully I can do it. I think it's crazy that that is even a thing. I don't even know how that works.
Oh no, that makes me bum. That shouldn't happen. But shouldn't happen to anybody. But it's happening.
It is happening for sure. I think I fixed it.
Good job.
Let me know if there's still an echo. Ginger. So it is also the Halloween episode. So Nicki, do you have any Halloween traditions? Are you doing anything for this Halloween? Is Halloween a thing in your neighborhood? Since I do know that you are kind of a neighborhood person.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't really have any plans this year. I'm going to carve a pumpkin. That's something I'm definitely gonna do. I'm gonna roast the seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and those are delicious. I love autumn. It's like my favorite time of year. So I like the whole time from Halloween on. It's so amazing, and I mean, I'm really excited because I'm going to Rhode Island next week to Rhode Island Comic Con, and it's going to be beautiful and autumny there.
Autumn.
It's going to be great for a lot of reasons because it's my first convention since like March 2020, and then just getting out there in the autumny. It's going to be true autumn. Los Angeles is not. I mean, yesterday it was pouring down rain all day. I was so happy. I was just, you couldn't contain my joy of the rain. I love it. And then today it's back to like not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful, but I really enjoyed the rain. I was so happy. So yeah, so Halloween, I don't know. I have little lights I put up and stuff, and I'll carve a pumpkin, and who knows, maybe I'll go out and do something.
Well,
what are you going to do?
Well, my plan was to go as Deadpool to work because the workplace, they last year anyway, encouraged people to dress up. And so I went in full Deadpool regalia, minus weapons. I replaced weapons with bananas.
Great.
So every time somebody said anything to me, I whipped a banana out of some random holster that I had on me. And said, somebody said, "Are you happy to see me?" And I said, "No, I got a banana in my pocket." But it was a lot. So since I've last seen you, Nicki, I've become visually impaired. No, actually, I needed glasses all the way back when I met you, but I was in super denial.
Oh man!
And so I didn't wear.
I was in denial about it for a long time too.
Oh sure, it was funny because at the last dispensary that I worked at, I was showing one of our new employees how to do the closing paperwork, and I got to the part where I'm supposed to read the credit card receipts. And there, at the time, I said there wasn't enough light in the world, and so I'd use the phone's flashlight to check receipts and everything. The guy was like, "Dude, you're blind. Get glasses." I'm like, "No, it's fine." And 3 years later, I was like, "Yeah, I can't see shit." But to go off of that tangent, I didn't wear my glasses under the mask, and this year I was, I was in such eye pain from having worn glasses for a couple months, and going without them, I couldn't see shit at work, and I kind of need to see shit because it's important what I do. And so I was like, well, how am I going to do that this year? They put out a memo, no full mask. So if you can't wear a full mask, there's no point in wearing something that somebody's going to call me Spider-Man in. So probably not going to dress up as Deadpool this year. At least at work. At least at work.
Yeah.
I do plan on Deadpooling it up around the neighborhood.
Awesome.
I don't know how many families actually take their kids around here, but I'm gonna take a backpack full of candy or something Deadpool-y, and
that's gonna be really fun.
Rush up on groups of people, probably scare the shit out of parents, and might get punched in the face. Who knows? But it'll be fun.
You're Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. I went as Deadpool one year and took my friends' kids Halloweening around their neighborhood, and walked up to this one house, and there was a family with a little tiny girl in front of it who was petrified because there was a dude on the porch dressed up as a scarecrow, and the little girl knew that somebody was going to scare the shit out of her. And I'm walking up with my friend's kids who are a bit older. I see this, and I was like, I had a sword in my back. I pulled the sword out, and I was like, "Here, you could take this." And the kid grabbed my hand and just started walking with one of my swords. And the parents were like, "Yeah, go with Deadpool." And I turned my head. I'm just, full face mask and everything. I'm like, parents. And the kid,
Oh my.
Did the thing. I had a toy gun. I held the gun at the scarecrow as to not jump up, and walked the kid back to the parent. The kid gave me my sword back, gave me a high five, and the dad was like, "What did I just do? I let my kid walk with some random Deadpool guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, parenting." So,
That's so cute, though.
it was cool. It was a cool experience. I didn't think it was going to go the way it did, but when something like that happens, you have a moment to act on it, and I was like, let's just go with it. If the parents don't like it, they'll stop me.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll see how successful I am with all of that this weekend. But Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year.
Yes.
I am not a fan of the season. I hate cold weather. I wish that there was some.
You guys really get it cold there.
We do not as cold as say like Wisconsin or Fargo or something like that, or up east, I guess. But it does get damn frigid here, and I wish that there was some sort of marijuana employee exchange program between here and some warm state, so I could find somebody that wants to go snowboarding or something like that, and would like to do what I do for like 6 months, and I can go out to Arizona or LA or wherever and do what I do there and be warm and comfortable.
Yeah, I would think they should do something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork, I think, in there. But in a perfect world, it would be like a foreign exchange student.
Yeah, totally.
So you did mention you started a little over 20 years ago. Something else that started a little over 20 years ago. I have to make sure I get the right picture pulled up here. Something I saw today is that the iPod is 20 years old. And on screen, Nicki can't see it right now, but she does have the picture. I have one of the 3 pictures I sent to her on screen right now of the first prototype iPod. And it is ridiculous looking. And yes, it's a prototype. That's obviously not what they were going to go with, but it was giving them an idea of what they were going to do.
Wow.
The other 2 pictures that I don't have on screen that Nicki does have is the interior of this gigantic box, and there's like one little tiny board inside, and like a small hard drive. But it's just funny to see that we don't use your words, Josh. When we're sitting here and we're getting new phones every couple of years, and we're getting new gadgets every whenever we get new gadgets, we don't really think about like how far the technology has come.
It's true.
Right? But when you take a little retrospective, and yes, it's a prototype. It's obviously not what the final design was, but it's so like it all started from somewhere, and it's cool to go back and look at that kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow. 20 years.
I mean, like going back and looking at the Model A car, right? Or a Model T car. Cool to go back and look at and be like, well, we've come a long damn way. You needed like 4 legs and 3 arms to drive one of those things. And then, look at it now where we have partially autonomous cars. It's just, it's cool to look at. And
it's insane. Yeah.
I just bought a phone that has 256 gigs of memory or something like that in the phone.
Wow.
And, the first iPod could hold 1,000 songs. I think is what they're tagging, 1,000 songs in your pocket.
Wow.
And it's just kind of crazy to look at that kind of thing.
That was so cool when that happened. That was just like, wow, all these CDs I lugged around everywhere, and now I don't have to do that anymore.
And we both come from the age, we're both Gen Xers. We had the big CD books, the black zip up books that we'd put on our lap while driving. Don't text and drive, but if you're looking through 300 CDs in your lap, it's cool. different time, right?
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, you know, I was just thinking about it today. As a kid, I always wanted a CD changer in a car because I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Have six or 12 of my favorite CDs that I could just have. I have a car with a six disc changer like stock, and I don't use it. You know, it's like I used it when I first got it because, you know, I finally got it. You know, but it didn't read burnt disc. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with all of these discs that I have? You know, I threw away, not threw away. I'm sure there's somewhere thrown away in some sort of box somewhere of every CD I've ever owned. You know, and then we were from that time. You made the mixtapes, man, or the mix CDs.
Oh man, all that stuff. I miss the mixtape days. That's just, it was like the height of creativity in a lot of ways for people, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Designing the case, the cover, and you know, making the songs fit perfectly, and having a theme, and you know, if you made a mixtape for someone you had a crush on, it was like a huge deal.
Right. I never got to do any of that kind of thing, but yeah, I saw people doing it.
Oh man, music.
And what a cool way. I do remember staying up late calling the you know, whatever the top 40 radio station was, and you know, dedicating some song to, you know, Girl X, and sitting there waiting for 2.5 hours for UB40 to play or something, like, you know, whatever cheesy ass song I thought was cool at the time.
That's awesome. No, that's so cool though.
You know, and
that's rad.
It's I suppose people still call in and request songs. Otherwise, what would be the point of having a DJ?
I hope so.
But
yeah, I hope people still do that. It's like a sweet little romantic thing. It's like, oh, what?
Right.
Oh,
like we need to resurrect Casey Kasem, just so we can get like the dedication of the week or whatever it was that he did. I can't remember the bit, but it would just it's weird to just see all these kind of technology things. We all have, you know, look at this picture. It's got maybe a 1-inch square screen on it, and we're all walking around with an average 5.5 to 6-inch screen in our pockets.
It's really crazy. I trip out on it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you even thought about your iPod?
I didn't until today.
Right. I couldn't even
for a long time.
I couldn't even think of the which iPod I even had. I knew what it looked like, but I didn't know what it was called. And I went on a mad search today to find the iPod that I once had, just so I can tick that off of my questioning of my own brain, so I can just shut that part off. Like, all right, well, cool, problem solved.
Yeah, it'll come to you.
Yeah. So, Nicki, what? I've asked you this before, but not on this format. But what was it?
Yeah, no, this is new.
What was it about young Nicki that was in college doing Nicki things? Where was the turn from what you were doing into more of the acting, or was it always acting that you were going for and got directed towards voice acting?
Wow, I really like that question. I was never, like, acting wasn't ever a thing, really. I mean, my mom put me in a choir class in 6th grade, and then it kind of transitioned into taking theater classes, and then it kind of became this thing where I, first of all, really, really enjoyed it, and I was so shy, and it just kind of took me out of myself, and then I guess I was actually kind of good at it because I was getting parts and stuff, but it was never like, oh, this is going to be my career. I wanted to be like a veterinarian, or I wanted to go to film school or something. I like to write, so I was thinking I would be like a film writer or do something like that. So that was my main thing I was going to do, but then there was a friend of mine was like, hey, they're having auditions for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. You should go. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be an actor. And I'm like, well, why the hell not? Like, well, yeah, we'll do a road trip. We'll go down to Disneyland and stuff. And I'm like, all right. So I went. I told my parents, of course, and I was like, I'm not going to get in, but I'm just going to go and see what happens. And it turns out that I got in, and I was completely floored. And then I was like, wow, maybe this is something that I could do with my life. And, so I did all kinds of parts. I got cast in all kinds of roles, grannies, like I played Anne Frank. I did all kinds of parts. And then towards graduation, it was a 2-year program, and you had to get invited back to the second year. So I got invited back. It was great. I did my thing, and it's almost graduation time, and the director of the school was like, hey, so your voice is probably going to limit you from a lot of the work a lot of theater work and stuff. And then I'm like, well, what the heck? And what, because at this point I'm like, I'm going to do this, and I don't care if I make money. I just want to act. And so naive, but it was at that point, Animaniacs was on TV, like new, and I used to rush home from school, do my homework so I could watch Animaniacs. And I never had thought about voice acting before. Honestly, it was never, everyone made fun of me, plus after what the teacher said. And I just was like, now I'm screwed, But I was watching Animaniacs. I was listening to Tress MacNeille, who was Dot, among a million other things she did on there. And I was like, wow, I'm like, I just never thought about voice acting. I guess I thought voice acting, you had to have like some really distinguished womanly voice or something. And I just never thought about it. And at about that time, my dad had actually heard this woman who had a voiceover school near San Francisco, Samantha Paris. It's a school called Voice Tracks. It's fantastic. And he said, she has a voice like you. And anyway, long story short, I graduated. It was great. I moved back up to the Bay Area, started voiceover classes, and it was like the greatest thing. I took an introductory class. I was in the booth, and I just felt so excited about it. I'm like, wait, this is what I want to do. It's acting for introverts. It's perfect. It's like I don't have to have anyone looking at me. I don't have to think about anything except my imagination. I could just let my imagination go and play any kinds of parts. And I wasn't limited, and because I've learned not to be limited through these 20 years. Because at first I think I just also pigeonholed myself. But then I learned how to play with my voice more, and that was just a long rambling. But
no, that's perfect.
I think I got to the point of your question. I think so.
Yeah, totally. You mentioned being excited, standing in the booth. What was your first experience in a voice booth? Was it with other actors? Was it by yourself?
No. It was by myself, and it was just like a class where they had like commercial copy or whatever, and then we would, raise our hand and who's gonna go in next. And I just remember that feeling in my stomach, like, because I still have a hard time listening to my voice. I didn't like it then at all. I didn't want to listen to playback. It's like when I just didn't want to listen to playback, but. Sure. So finally I got into the habit of just trying to go first all the time. And even at auditions for theater, I'd always just be like, I'm going first. I just want to get this done. So I would go in and do it. And I remember, I had like, I don't even know, it's probably some commercial copy, but I just remember being like very exhilarated by it. And I felt a whole different, kind of freedom. And I think, that's such a beautiful draw of it. It's not all that external pressures. Like, what do you look like? What's your blocking? What's your next move on the stage? Like, you don't want to memorize lines. It's just, you're in the moment. It's the ultimate cold reading a lot of times, which I love. So I don't know. I just remember it was like, not to sound cheesy, but it was like lightning struck me on my head, and I was like, whoa, this is my thing. This is what I want to do. And then I just got credit cards and took classes, and I'm probably still paying them off. But you know what? It's like, it's great. I'm so glad that I found something else to do when I was feeling discouraged about the other thing. And it's not easy. Like, this has not been easy. It's still not easy, but every time I book a job, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like amazing. They chose you. They heard something, and it just feels really good and validating. And so just gotta be thankful for every little thing that comes. And it's nothing's little. Everything is like, yes,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you said, every job that you book is another, notch on the belt, to use a outdated term. I can't believe I even just said that.
Yeah, but it is, yeah.
I worked for, protect kayfabe, Josh. I worked for a TV company at one point,
Yeah.
and they had open auditions for a voiceover for a commercial. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." And it wasn't a cold read, thankfully. They gave me the script. I had it for about a week.
Yeah.
So I thought I had my pacing and I knew what the timing was and everything. I was totally raw, but I heard enough terminology and was, I friendly enough with those voice actors that I'd heard enough of these terms. So I was like, okay, I got it all down.
Yeah.
And got into the booth, and there was no monitor, so I couldn't hear myself other than hearing myself in a sound a portable sound booth, and no air conditioning. So I went into it nervous, right? Because the booth, they just rolled the booth right kind of on the floor, so there was one glass door that everybody could see me in. And
it's still intimidating though. I
totally
feel you. When because in a class situation too, that's how it was. Everyone's like watching you, and people are there supporting you. I hope you felt that too, or I hope you weren't like, oh god.
Oh yeah, the producer, for lack of a better term, was like, no, you did great on the first one. Why don't you just do a second one, just to make sure. And I was like, oh, great.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if they ended up using it or not. At one point when they fired me, this place, they gave me more money for the little bit of voice work I did. So they must have used it. And
I'm glad you got paid for the voice work.
Oh yeah. And I have a friend who has actually gotten me a couple gigs over the last 3 years.
That's great.
So I've gotten to do, thank you for calling company X, press 1 for this. So I've gotten to do that a couple times, which has been really cool. And
I want to do something like that. I know it's like, I want to do something really serious and straight like that. Like, I don't know. I think it would be fun to do that kind of thing.
And it was really cool. And this isn't about me, but it was just cool to get to experience that kind of thing in just my room. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was just like, oh yeah, I have the equipment to do it. I can just clean it up, send it to you. Hopefully you use it. You're paying me either way, but hopefully you use it. And then I looked up what you guys, professionals, typically charge per produced minute. And I'm like, well, I'm not a professional. So I'm going to take that value and go about 75% less of that, add $10, and I'm going to say that per produced minute. And it's worked out actually pretty well.
Well, you just keep raising it as you keep accumulating. You know what I mean? Just don't sell yourself short.
No, not by any means. And that's I think I have a good rapport with the person that keeps giving me these jobs. Well, it keeps giving me. I haven't had one in a while, but things is tough for everybody, right?
They sure are.
As someone who does do a lot of voice acting in a time where we just came out of and still are in, did the jobs increase? Did they decrease? Did they stay steady? I'm not trying to get into your business, but
No. I mean, it was definitely quiet for a while. And then, auditions would come through every once in a while.
were they
But
easier
it definitely quieted down.
Did you always do your auditions from home, or did you go in?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I just go in my closet in my pajamas typically, and
that's awesome.
I just get it done. Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic.
Did you spend the money to spruce the closet up to make it a sound booth, or is it just your closet?
I have like moving blankets around. It's pretty much just for recording. I have a few clothes that I wear a lot, especially during this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just, pajamas. I have my day pajamas and my night pajamas.
Yeah.
So, my closet's just basically where I go to work now. It's not where I go, oh, I'm going to wear this today. I'm going to look cute. No, I have a bag of clothes. I just pull the bag out because I live in a pretty small place. Right. So I just have to pull everything out of the closet. Then I go do my work, and it works out great. I mean, it sounds good in there. I've done some official work in there, and so it's been good.
But, closets are a favorite place amongst voice actors that I see on the Instagrams.
Yeah.
I would like to say friend of the show, James Taylor, but he's not friend of the show yet. But his closet is pretty awesome. He's got like a...
Yeah, some people really soup him up.
Yeah. He's got some sort of direct line to the studio.
Oh, wow.
Like ISBN or something. I don't...
Oh, the ISDN,
ISDN, yes. So, he's the voice of Fox.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny.
That's so cool.
And it's always that. Did you see that movie that came out a few years ago, the Behind the Voice?
Yes, I did.
That every time I meet voice actors where I've known the characters first and then get to meet the person, it always blows my mind because the picture I have in my head is completely different. Almost always
when you meet the real people. Yeah.
Like the voice of Archer, I can't remember what his name is. He matched the exact picture I had in my head. I was like, well, of course that's what he looks like.
That's awesome.
But it's the voice acting. I'm jumping all over the place. I don't have my co-host here to keep me in check.
You're doing good.
So the voice acting, it obviously you have a passion for it. You keep wanting to do it.
Yeah.
What would be, aside from the voice of the voice of a phone system, what else big projects or dream projects would you like or have?
Well, I mean, Psychonauts 2 happened, and I can't believe it, but I would love for more Psychonauts, basically. I would love to have a Psychonauts animated series or something like that. That's what I would dream of. It would be the best, because I just would love to always play that character forever and ever. But I also, after The Walking Dead and Lily made her turn of being just supremely sinister and evil, for real, I would like to play more villains. I really, really, really enjoyed it a lot. So, it's a lot of cool characters out there, and I'm really. It's always weird to see how someone sees your voice, as you want it to match, and and when they actually are like, wow, this matches, and it's always a trip. When I did years and years ago, I did Tales of Monkey Island, and that was my first game I did with TellTale. And when I got the audition for that part, I didn't know what Morgan Le Fay looked like. It was just a description. They said they wanted a cross between Cameron Diaz and Rosario Dawson, and I was perplexed because I didn't really know what that meant. But what I picked up on was that Morgan Le Fay, she was a fangirl, And so I'm a younger tone, and at that point, I hadn't really seen myself playing older characters yet, and I hadn't had that opportunity much. And so I just kind of, I don't know, I did that. I made her younger than they were originally thinking, but they were stoked on it. I don't know. I just went off on a tangent.
No, that's
for
fine.
Whatever question you had.
No, it's fine because that's what podcasts are just tangents held together by laughter and sometimes a segue.
Yeah.
How often in acting do you think it is that somebody gets to play the same named character in two different franchises?
You know, it's actually 3 because I was in a game called Firewatch, and that Jake Rodkin and Sean Vanneman did, and they had done the first season of The Walking Dead, and I had done Tales of Monkey Island with them, and they named I played a drunk skinny dipping girl who was blasting off fireworks. They named her Lily because they're like, well, we have to name you Lily because they were huge Psychonauts fans and everything. So yeah, so
awesome.
Far it's 3. I'm looking for more. Like, I want to continue accumulating lilies of different personality types.
Well, hopefully, I mean, they would do an animated, and you know that the personality would get tweaked a little bit, you know, so you could technically call that a separate character. Mm-hmm. I would guess. I mean, I've always said that when you look at, if somebody says it's a horrible impression of Ronald Reagan or whoever you're trying to impersonate, I say maybe to your ear, but that could be totally a different character. You know, that just happens to sound poorly like Ronald Reagan.
It could be. It's just it's like Bizarro Ronald Reagan or, you know, or just some other dude.
Right,
just
exactly.
Some other old guy.
You mentioned cold reading before.
Yeah.
How difficult is that to do? I mean, putting aside anxiety and nervousness, just looking at a piece of paper and just going for it. Do you even get to scan it first? Read quick, 30 seconds before they hit it sometimes, or no?
I don't. It's like mostly when I do video game recording sessions now, they have the script on an iPad. So I just go in and just do 3 in a row, scrolling down. And you just kind of, a lot of times you don't know the context of things, so they have to explain it to you. If there's been other actors there before, like with The Walking Dead, it was great because if Melissa Hutchison, who was Clementine, recorded before me, I got to hear her in my headset, and it helped me a lot because you don't know the context of the anger level, especially with that character, but also just it's a trip. But I think for the cold reading, especially when you're playing a character, and I think with everything, commercial copy, everything, you have to create a character in your mind. You have to think about, the same as doing theater, you have to think about your moment before, who you're talking to, all that kind of stuff. And it's just having all that information. It helps a lot, but having the character in focus is what makes the character and the voice thrive when you're doing cold reading, I think, because I just have to have my character cemented in my mind, and I have like tunnel vision when I'm recording. I don't like, nothing else is gonna sway me. Like when I did I've told this story so many times, but when I did the Walking Dead game, I mean, by this point it's over 10 years old now, so it's no spoilers, but there's a part where my character's father is getting, his head smashed in with a salt lick. And I didn't know I was going to be doing that day. I didn't know anything. I just went in and they're like, okay, so this is what's happening. If I had too much time to think about it, I probably would have been freaking out because I'm like, how am I going to act this out? Like, it's scary. Like, it's scary to go there, but they told me, and I know this because I just get, which is a fault of mine sometimes, but if I'm in it, I'm in it. And they told me they were worried I was like losing my mind because I was just completely in it. And, you know, when it's over, and I'm like, okay, next line. It's like, let's keep this going. But it's a trip, like how you can get completely absorbed, and it's almost like I'm in this cave and I'm just like completely in it. I don't know. It's
I've heard really cool stories like that. So that's the first time actually I've heard you tell that story. Oh shit, I can't. Milo Ventimiglia, I think that's how you say it. He was on Heroes. He was a younger Petrelli kid. He got to do Wolverine in an anime that got ported over to the US. And because it was already an anime, they already had the video footage, so they're doing just the lip flap matching. And so anytime Wolverine had his claws out, he would put pencils in between his fingers just so he could get into the character more.
Awesome.
There was, I remember
that's really cool.
People telling stories of Chris Latta, who did Cobra Commander and Starscream, he would just, again, like you, would just get tunnel vision and would just do the lines and just get into it to the point where his voice would be fried and he'd be spitting up blood. And
oh gosh, yeah, that's gnarly. But it happens.
Right. And I've heard that a lot from a lot of voice actors, telling panel stories or interviews that, sometimes, you do a few screams and your voice can get destroyed.
Yeah, there was this game I did years ago. It was called XCOM, and I had to basically go in. It was my first LA job. It was when I was still living in San Francisco, so it was like this really exciting thing. I flew down for the day and, went to the studio in Santa Monica, and I remember I was in the bathroom and they had like amazing hair products for like curly hair, and I was like, what? This place is rad. And but I went in to do the session, and I was playing like a phone operator, like old school, and I was like connecting calls, and I'm trying to connect calls, and I'm being like attacked by aliens and vaporized and all this stuff, and my throat was getting slit, and it was the most vocally challenging. Like I lost my voice. Like I lost my voice for like a week after that, and I was like, okay, that kind of stuff is crazy, because usually when you have recording sessions, that kind of stuff they'll save for you to do that at the end of the session.
Oh, sure.
When I was doing The Sims, if I had to do any temper tantrums, it would be at the end of the session. Which is good. But this was all just freaking out and screaming the whole time for like an hour.
Wow.
And it was very intense.
I can imagine.
So I didn't bleed. It was no bleeding, but it was like inflammation.
Lots of tea and honey those days.
Yeah, throat coat and everything. Yeah.
Well, when I mentioned to the people that I work with and the people I'm around that I was getting to talk to you today, and they were like, oh, well, what does she do? And I was like, well, you're probably going to know her most either from the Walking Dead game, as you said it when I met you, the character that was loved and hated.
Yeah.
Or because you've been playing The Sims and you've been hearing her Simlish for years. And when I said The Sims, you can't believe how many people's eyes light up and they're like, I love The Sims.
Oh, that's rad.
What an interesting job to get. I didn't play a lot of Sims.
It was.
But it's amazing that Simlish that somehow was still able to convey emotion, arguments, tragedy, whatever. It was really cool.
It's super cool. I feel like The Sims is like a world. It's like world peace. It's like no particular language. It's a language based on emotion that anywhere in the world people can understand. And I mean, I worked at a youth hostel in San Francisco for about 6 years, and this kid one day came up and he'd seen me in this video that EA France came over and they filmed us doing recording sessions, and then they were like, we want to follow you, and can we follow you in San Francisco? I'm like, so they came to my apartment and they filmed me like on a cable car. I'm all, hey, and like super cheesy.
Right.
Like I went to get a cup of tea, and but this kid had seen this video. He's all, are you in The Sims? Or his sister did. He couldn't speak English. They were from Austria, but anyway, he'd seen me in this video, and it was weird because when someone asked me if I'm in The Sims, it's like, how do you know? Like, especially then, this was a while ago, like 2008, 2009, probably. The Simlish stuff is amazing. I don't know how I did it sometimes. Because I just made it up. We had some words that everybody used, but I just kind of I just was thrown into it,
Right.
and I just went for it, and I loved it. And it was the best kind of exhaustion at the end of the day. But I would lose my voice from that too. Like, cause I used to do 8-hour recording sessions for a while, which is a lot. Like maybe now we'll do like 4 tops, or like at the end of it, I think I was doing 6, but like, cause I had a recording partner, who was playing the other child sim. But it was a lot. I loved it, and people love The Sims, and I love when I go to conventions and I meet the true Sims lovers that have just like, created a world of their own with it.
Yeah,
it's pretty rad.
And you were there for the whole thing, and.
I was. People are like, oh my gosh, I grew up with you. And I'm like, what? That's so weird.
Right.
But I did it for 12 years. So that's people's lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, that is a large chunk of people's of growing up anyway, right? You put that 12-year block. You put that 12-year block anywhere, and that's a large chunk of someone's life.
It is.
It is. You did just mention conventions. And you and I actually are both going to our first conventions coming up this coming weekend, I believe is what you said. FanX Denver is this weekend, and this is the first show that FanX is putting here in Denver. They actually took over formerly Denver Comic Con, formerly Pop Culture Con, Denver Pop Culture Con.
Yeah.
Now known as Denver FanX or FanX Denver. And I'm excited that they approved me again for media and press, so I would get to do the things that I always got to do when I met not met you, but when we were doing the things.
Yeah.
As somebody who did those on a more professional level, where I pretend to be a journalist. How do you feel about getting back into it? What are there any hesitations or I don't know. I don't have the vocabulary, but are you feeling anything other than excitement, or is there any other feelings other than excitement?
It's definitely excitement. I love Rhode Island, and so I'm excited to go and like be in the autumny weather. Sure. And also to have some chowder and stuff, and but the convention, yeah, I'm really excited. There are 2 cities, well there's a few more, but mostly it's Denver, it's Colorado, and it's Rhode Island. These are my 2 Psychonauts cities. Like, okay. I don't know what it is, but you guys love Psychonauts. So I'm really excited to go to Rhode Island also, because Psychonauts 2 has just come out. And this is something that, we've waited for years. And I've met so many people at conventions through the years, and I've kept in touch with them, like Psychonauts fans. And because there was not like Psychonauts fan art or anything. And people didn't really see the Psychonauts actors because the game was from 2005, but the people that love Psychonauts, they love it. Like, they play it every year still. And, so I kept in touch with a lot of people. And when Psychonauts 2 came out, I got so many wonderful messages, messages on Instagram from people that got to play, and they were super happy. So I'm looking forward to catching up with people and hearing about what they think about the game. And I haven't been to Rhode Island since it was probably what, 2018, I guess. Yeah, 2018. So it's been a few years. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the only thing for me is it's just a lot of people, and I'm not used to being around a ton of people yet.
Right.
And
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And it's got to be different more as a guest, I would think, because people are coming to see you.
Yeah.
Right. And things have changed. The protocols are different now. And
it's like the hugging stuff. Like, I feel weird because I like to hug people, but I'm like, oh, is that gonna be like it's weird. It's just, and I know at Rhode Island they're gonna enforce masks, which is good, and we got to keep on top of this stuff. So I just want everybody to act right, be cool, enjoy the convention, like spend your money, then like buy stuff you love and nerd out on all the amazing stuff you're gonna see, and just I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think it's gonna be it's 3 days. Is Denver 3 days too?
Yes.
It usually is, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I hope I get to come back out there.
I'm
supposed
so
to
too.
come out for I keep saying it wrong, the Wild West Comic-Con that Todd Jones is doing. It's in the spring. It's going to be in Loveland, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, I'll have to look into that then. I haven't heard of this one yet.
Yeah, because he was going to bring me out, and then COVID happened, and so he had to postpone.
Gotcha. Well, I'll have to look into that. I mean, Denver's a good convention town. There's like 6 or 7, medium to, you could say, small shows that I think you would fit in well at. I
love the smaller conventions because then I can like chill with people longer and just like, it just feels like more of a relaxed kind of a flow,
For sure.
Like when I did Fort Collins Comic-Con, it was amazing. It was so fun.
Yeah, and just like you, I'm sure there's people you only see on the convention, the convention tour. I myself, there's certain people I only see at conventions, and I've really missed not seeing them for a couple of years now, and it sucks. So I'm looking forward.
You're gonna have a fun weekend.
I'm definitely looking forward to reconnecting with a bunch of people, and for myself anyway, showing this new company that I'm worth keeping around because I do good work. So hopefully they'll keep keeping me around.
Yeah, good. They should.
They should, and I'll tell them that you said so.
Yeah.
So I don't have a segue.
On the record.
What's that?
It's on the record.
It's on the record. I have no segue or stinger into this next little thing, so I'm just going to say it. So I started last week. We just started the Stoner Tip of the Week. I can't remember what the Stoner Tip of the Week last week was because I am a stoner. But the Stoner Tip of the Week this week, there is absolutely no need, people. There is no need to take a hit and hold it. Your lungs take in whatever they want as soon as you inhale. Just exhale. When you hold it, all you're doing is robbing your body of oxygen, which you need. When you exhale, you feel really high. It's maybe, but it's also because your body is getting a ton of oxygen that you were making it not take in. So just take your hit, take it in, blow it out.
That's a good tip.
There's no need to hold it. This isn't 1965 anymore. Where maybe it helped. Maybe it helped. If you want to see something funny, folks, go onto the Googles after the show and Google 1977 winning high time strains or something. Use those words, put them in an order that makes more sense to you, and they will show you the pictures of the award-winning 1977 strains of weed, and they are embarrassingly disgusting to look at when you look at today's bushy Christmas tree purple buds of
technology and stuff.
Right?
It's like, yeah.
Yes, it's a weed, but if you nourish the weed, it can grow into some lovely flowers. Nicki, as I always like to ask any kind of actor person that I get to talk to, and the question I really need to figure a different question out because nobody can ever answer it. What projects, if any, can you talk about that are upcoming? Yep. See, this is why
I can say that Moonglow Bay came out today, and it's a beautiful, sweet fishing sim game that I got to do, and that came out today, and
it's pretty awesome.
It's really beautiful, and yeah, it's like relaxing, and it's got nice music and nice colors, and it's the kind of thing that we need in this day and age. Sure. But other than that, I have some other stuff I just can't talk about. Well, but that's the thing.
Yeah, and
these days.
And I know it's a loaded question. I know that going into it. And
yeah, but you gotta try.
You never know until you ask. But silence is also an answer. And it's a good answer. Some people get upset by it. I don't, because that means my friends are working.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters to me. Doesn't matter what it is, but if you can't talk about it, that means you're doing something, and you're doing something you love, and that's all that matters.
It's a precious thing, and I'm grateful for it.
And I am grateful for you for taking your time, your hour of your evening to come hang out with me tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And my co-hostless show, as my co-hosts are on PTO. Nicki, where can people find you on the internets if you want to give that information out?
Sure. I mean, on Instagram, it's just Nicki Rapp, NICKIRAPP. On Twitter, it's a rap. It's ITSUH RAPP. I am on Facebook on Nicki Rapp voiceover artist. What else? I feel like those are the ones that really are the things.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the things.
Yeah. And I'm sure on one of those, if somebody out there is watching that needs or wants to book Nicki, I'm sure you could find her booking information somewhere as well.
Yes.
If not, I'm sure if you Google it, you could find it.
Yes.
Normally, this is the part where my co-host would say where you could find them, so I will say it for them. You could find Savanna at what is her Master of Raptors on Twitter. Hopefully she will be back next week, as she has done her professional life some good, and hopefully she will be back. And Francis, he will be back next week from his PTO, and it will be great. You can find him at AKA the other guy. I don't think you could find him on his live show he does with Jeff Burns tomorrow, because I think he's still on PTO there as well. But you can find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. Call us, 314-764-7631. It spells out POI Pod 1 because I kind of like synergy and I kind of don't. You can call voicemail or call into the show, which we encourage you to do every show, and nobody ever does, so do it, damn it. Email us at thepoipodcast@gmail.com. And find us on YouTube and Twitter at POI Podcast. Thank you, Nicki, for hanging out with me. It's been too long since we've gotten to chat, and I'm happy that we were able to arrange this. Everybody that's watching live, thank you for watching. We're here every week at 7:30-ish. What fucking time is it? 7:30-ish Mountain Time. And we try to stick around there. Join us every week for the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh. Right over there is Nicki, and we are out, people. Thank you. Goodbye.